Hey, GenderqueerChat. Joe here, looking a little bit disgusting, quite frankly. It's really, really stupid hot day today, and I was cleaning the house, and I just kind of like laid in bed all day, and it's like 8 o'clock at night, and I have to do my video, and I just threw on a baseball cap, and away we go. So today is Canada Day, July 1st. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but happy day, happy Canada Day. It's kind of like Canada's birthday. And normally I really enjoy Canada Day. I've been known to go to Ottawa or enjoying the festivities, but it's stupid hot, and I spent the whole day out yesterday, so I'm in today. Haven't set foot out of the house, haven't even gotten dressed. Today's topic is, what is gender, and what does it mean to you? And it's a very simple question with a very loaded, long answer. As you probably noticed from this week's videos, there were all kinds of various looks at it. And I remember I was watching, I think at the beginning of the week, it might have been Matt's video, right off the hop, I'm like, yeah, it's a social construct. Of course it is. That's all it is. Boom, period, end of, right? But not really. That's part of it. That is definitely part of it. I think gender for me is what society expects of me. What society expects of people, not necessarily me. Because some people, and I think I would include myself in that bunch, have managed to somehow escape the wrath of society. You know, I'm not held to the same standard that a lot of people are held to. I don't get the flack that a lot of people get for not behaving like my assigned gender or my assigned sex at birth, right? The gender people think I am, the gender I appear to be, which is female. People expect females to behave and look and so forth a certain way. And I don't play that game, and I don't get too much flack for it. And I don't know why. Well, part of me thinks I might know why, and I'm gonna step out and guess that it's because I'm so genderqueer. Let me think how to phrase this. I think I said in a previous video one time that I periodically call people the gender that I think they are, and occasionally I get it wrong. And there are people who believe they are who are trans and want to be called the gender that they are, or wish they were, or wish society perceived they were. But I don't see it and I don't feel it, and I call them the birth gender because I can only go by my sense. And I think my sense is honed better than the average person. Like, I don't think I'm ignorant about it, but I also think that you can sense what gender a person is by talking to them on occasion and sort of behave accordingly. And that's not to say the trans person has it wrong. It's just that what they're giving, the vibe they're giving off, and the vibe that I'm picking up is gender X, right? Whatever it is, specific gender. The vibe that I give off, I think, is distinctly genderqueer with feminine overtones. I think a lot of people perceive me as female. A lot of people treat me as female, but not to the same capacity that they treat other females. I think there is a genderqueer vibe that I give off that makes people accept things from me that they wouldn't accept from other people. And that's extremely convoluted, but that's kind of how I see it. So gender is something, it is a bit of a societal construct in that our society has deemed there are two genders, male and female, and males look and act and behave this way, and females look and act and behave this way. However, because, you know, in eras gone by or in different cultures, those are very different things. What's expected, or what is expected of female. I'll just use females as an example in a culture where you know, virginity is really prized and women have to dress in, you know, it's all, you know, and then we live in a society where you know, beauty is very prized, or women who shape thin is very prized, and so thin women are treated very differently, for example, than fat women. And forget the women part. I mean, there's things that are, and yet fat men are treated the same as skinny men usually. It's very gender oriented. Wow, as I'm talking, I'm realizing I'm not making any sense at all, to myself anyway. I don't know if you guys are following, but I really get the sensation that gender is something that we were kind of pigeonholed in based on the culture we were born in at birth, a behavior we were expected to portray, or a way we were expected to behave. And I also believe it's kind of a vibe that people pick up on. I do, because sex is like what's in my pants is so can't be seen, right? And nobody knows if I'm XX chromosome by looking at me. You can't tell what sex I am by looking at me or talking to me. You can only tell what gender you think I am by talking to me. are looking at me. So in that way, gender is kind of the visible perception of sex. Like sex being the, whether someone is sexed male or sexed female, in light of the fact that sex cannot be deduced on sight. So if you look at me and you perceive that I'm female, you can then, rattle off a bunch of assumptions or have a bunch of perceptions about what I should be doing or shouldn't be doing. I think I mentioned this in a previous video. It was the country video. We were discussing our own culture, our own country. I think because I'm Canadian, I think Canadian culture is very, very accepting of gender deviation or of gender fluidity, gender nonconformity, in a way that a lot of other cultures are not. I really do believe that, and I think a lot of it has to do with the weather. I think I said this in the previous video, that you can dress kind of for the weather in gender-neutral clothing. Like in the winter, we all wear parkas, and there's stylish, coats you can wear to show that you're female or show that you're male. But when I lived in the Arctic, you couldn't really tell what gender someone was when they were walking down through a blizzard in a parka. I mean, you really couldn't, and similarly, there's kind of just, I want to say a rough and tumbleness about being Canadian. Everywhere I've ever been in Canada, I've met a lot of women who are, I think there's a country song out. Dean, somebody sings a song called Canadian Girl. You should Google that. It's kind of stupid. It's kind of like a stupid country song, right? Gendered, but he's talking about how Canadian girls kind of like their hockey and wear lumberjack shirts and stuff like that. And that is kind of more, it's truer than you'd think. I do know a lot of female Canadians who lean more towards the center of the gender spectrum than my American friends. For example, I find American society is a lot more gendered in my experience. I don't know so much about European or South American cultures, Australian cultures. I can only sort of speak because I travel extensively in the U.S. and I am Canadian. Hi, Stanley. Hi, little darling. So, what gender means to me, I guess it's a way of making me mad. It aggravates me. Yes, look at you. You want to say hi? Gender is a way of getting me going because, as I've said in previous videos, and I know Ricky said it too, gender is the thing I'm not. It's the thing I wish you didn't focus on when you looked at me. I wish when you looked at me and talked to me, you thought about everything except gender. However, I know it's the way people kind of judge me. It's the way people pigeonhole me. It's the thing that aggravates me the most in life, is being identified as a female, or people thinking they need to treat me a certain way or talk a certain way. And I don't even mean treat me or talk to me. I mean people just instinctively behave different ways around men and women, depending. I don't know that I do. Maybe I do. The guys at work, for example, they act completely differently around me than they do around each other. And it's so obvious. And I don't think they're doing it purposefully. I don't think they're hateful or hurtful people. I think they're just socially conditioned that way. I think they really are. And it's possible that sex, the act of sex, I was about to do that, but you know what I mean, has more to do with it than being sexed at birth, right? But when you're sexually attracted to someone of the opposite gender or the same gender, whoever you're sexually attracted to, means that you're going to behave differently around the person that you're sexually attracted to, the sex that you're sexually attracted to, the gender, right? Especially if you're in flirtation mode, if you're sexually attracted to that person, you're definitely going to treat them differently than you would one of your own gender or the gender that you're not sexually attracted to. You would think so we would have evolved beyond that, where because someone's not sexually attracted, so say someone's sexually attracted to women, and I walk in the room and I'm, for all intents and purposes, a woman, you would think they would, deduce right away whether or not they're sexually attracted to me, and then start treating me like a normal person if they're not. Now, if they are sexually attracted to me, they can flirt or do the things that humans do. But it would appear, I know for a fact that a lot of guys behave very strangely because they're afraid of being perceived as harassing. Some guys watch what they say around me because they don't want to be perceived as harassing. Some guys harass extra more than you would think because they're just that way. They're just bent where their brain turns to mush when they're in the presence of a female or something. But it's weird. People's, there's a lot of layers of what could go wrong, or what, guys can lose their jobs if they treat, women differently in the workplace, or, a lot of guys, I've talked to a lot of guys about this, they're very afraid of being accused of rape, and I've had this is something as a woman I don't really think much about, or as a female-bodied person. No one can really, accuse me of being a rapist and have, half the world believe it the way men can. And that's kind of scary. I think if I were male-bodied, I would be extra cautious, too, especially if I'd been burned once before. Same thing with, custody of children. Men can be accused of beating their wife, and, all the woman has to do is go to, a battered woman's shelter, and the guy is kind of guilty until proven innocent, right? So guys will often watch what they say and do in ways that I forget that it's hard sometimes to be a man. And because in my little genderqueer world, everybody's the same and you shouldn't ever have to draw gender into it. And yet, on second thought, and once I stop and think about it, I know it's harder. It's when you live in a world where there's a lot of gender differentiation, and you've had that proven to you, and you've had negative consequences because of that, it's definitely on your mind, right, in a way that it's not for someone like me. Kind of talked in circles on this one, but hope you enjoyed this video. See you guys next week. Bye-bye.